All right, thanks for joining again. The Real Sean 256 bringing you another episode of Evening Crypto. And tonight we're just going to keep it simple, guys. We're just going to do a quick chart update on Bitcoin and go over what's been going on. I mean, there's really not a whole lot going on with the crypto markets in the last, I want to say, about a week or so. We saw a slight and gradual dip in the price, pretty much all across the board. But we'll take a look at Bitcoin just to give an update, see what you guys or show you show you guys what I'm seeing in the chart. And time is running out. I did let you guys know that in my last video that we were sort of building a head and shoulders formation, inverted head and shoulders, that is, on the daily, and it looks like time is definitely running out if that move wants to play, or maybe that was a fake out. Sometimes that can happen in shallow markets like the crypto markets. Anyway, let's do a quick rundown of the market cap. Currently at 261,160. Trading 52 billion in the last 24 hours. That volume has actually kind of been on the downtrend as well. And then we see Bitcoin dominance actually tick up a bit back into the 70 percentile. Don't need to really preach too much on that, but I do think that's just going to continue upwards, as I've said in the channel before. So let's get right into it. Let's get into the charts. Like I said, this will just be a quick update on the price of Bitcoin. And here we see on the daily, we do see here a head and shoulders formation right in here. Let's actually redo this. So an inverted head and shoulders formation trying to build here, but we are again um, very close to running out of time if this is actually going to be the move. As opposed to my last video when we were, on Monday, we were actually trading above all of these major moving averages, but now we've actually ticked down below them. There's definitely some convergence here with all of the moving averages, the simples and the EMAs, all converging here. Well, a lot of them are actually, and just building confluence there. And again, we're still in a huge consolidation here as we look at the daily chart here. But it is coming down to that time where we are definitely at this point we're definitely pretty much filled in within the formation. So a possible breakdown or possible breakout is definitely coming. Um, should be coming soon, right? I mean, there's nothing really scripted or written as a law that this has to happen, but more often than not, the majority of the times you'll see this already being filled, and a decisive move should follow and either break down below this or break above. Right now, we have to talk about this because the big move could be, once we break out, could be this right here. We've actually gone over this move before, showed you guys this before. So here we go. If we end up breaking out right around, say, September 16th, let's do a tiny bit of adjusting here. So yeah, so we would be looking at, what is this here, 14,675, right? If that was to be played out, on the upwards, which these formations typically, again, these are typical things that we've seen happen in the past. These sort of wedges or triangles, symmetrical triangles, we do see that the outcome would be a bullish outcome. Now, if this does play out momentarily, this head and shoulders, we did measure the move. It would be pointing at almost 11,500. If we do get to that point, then that would be bullish, and again would imagine that this move actually does play out, and we could see a possible $14,700 range all the way up to, say, 14.8. But this will be gradual, right? This is not going to happen over one day, I suppose. Although, did we see a move this big? Nope. I mean, not quite. No. Yep. So let's go back to the 16th. One more over. There we go. Again, so if we break out of there, we could see over the course of, say, a week or two, Bitcoin working its way back up, if that is the breakout, right? And that is the measured move. Um, could take us to 14,800, almost 15,000. All right, over the period of, again, about a week or so. Now, if we do break down, say we, have a couple more days in this formation, then we are going to, and I know a lot of you guys don't like to see or hear this, but this is the ultra bearish case scenario here. If we do decide to break down below this formation, then we are going to come back and retest at the 0.236 here, fib extension tool, the range here. And I would expect a huge bounce off of this area. I mean, if we were to come down and retest 5,700, I mean, again, there's a lot of support, but this would be the measured move. We now, in the macro trend of things, we are in an overall ascending formation, or a more of a bullish trend, right? Because again, this run up here was definitely bullish. We got above all major moving averages, broke above many levels, hit a yearly high of almost 14,000. There's definitely a lot of bullish momentum within this whole formation here, going back to April, right? So that tells us that it is very likely that we get continuation off of this. Very likely. Now, also the volume has been on the decrease here, and we just see how the volume has just been dwindling down and down into an area where the pinch is coming. The pinch is definitely coming, and I do think we're going to see, again, quite a violent move, whether it's to the upside. I know you guys are probably wanting more of a call or a certain position on my end, as far as, like, is it going to break down or is it going to break out? Well, it is very difficult to tell. Although, again, there's several signs pointing at the fact that it might break out, because again, we're in an overall bullish trend. So the tendency would be for it to break out of this formation here, and we actually play out. But again, it would have to be followed and accompanied by plenty of buying volume. A lot of buyers would have to come in and actually start buying that up, which, with Bitcoin, we've seen it time and time again, where these rallies sort of happen, and then people start jumping on the bandwagon and just pushing the price upward and upward and upward. And I would believe that if this happens and we do end up breaking out, that same scenario will definitely play out. Bitcoin is infamous for doing that sort of move. So I would, and also to the downside, right? There's a lot of fear in this market when stuff starts to sell off. A lot of people will definitely, sell their positions and get out of something like that. That's, again, as the cliche goes, don't try to catch a falling knife. A lot of people will kind of get out of their positions and not really buy anything until they see a certain bounce, right? And that's and if it breaks down and it starts retesting these areas here, the 0.5 or the 200 EMA here, this would be a huge area of support here at the 0.5. The 200 coming in there. If it does break down below that, then we could come back and retest the 377 or the 382 Fibonacci measure there. And again, it would be a pretty smart move on people's behalf if we do break down and start selling. People start massively selling Bitcoin and just pushing the price further down. Which depending on what you're doing, you kind of want that. I specifically do want that. To be completely transparent with you guys, I've left a very small portion of my cash in Bitcoin. I'm not trading alts right now. I'm just watching what Bitcoin is going, because again, it could break. We're at the point where it could break out or break down at any moment. So really keeping my cash option pretty solid there until we do see a decisive move. And particularly in my case scenario, and I know I'm not the only one in this scenario. if Bitcoin does break down, you betcha I'm going to be watching for that and looking for a nice re-entry point down in these levels at the 0.5, at the 382, which the 0.5 does have some confluence. I would expect that if it does break down, I would expect to bounce here at the 200 to 0.5. Excuse me, come retest the area of resistance or previous support, which would now turn into resistance. But I do mention that in these videos quite often. And then a possible breakdown and come back and revisit the 382 at around 7,200. And another important psychological sort of milestone would be the gap, the CME gap, futures gap at 8,500. That would get filled, and if we do see continuation all the way down to quite possibly 5,700. Right. So I know you guys don't want to hear this, the bearish case scenario. Again, because of how I'm playing this, that would actually benefit me and a lot of folks out there. There's some who are hodlers and really don't care which way it goes because you're going to be buying anyway. So that's not a bad strategy either. If that's if TA and trading is not something that's worked for you in the past, then hey, that's also a solid. Definitely a solid strategy, especially because, again, we seem to be in an uptrend, and the likely move is for it to break out and revisit higher prices. So that is definitely a good strategy for anyone to have to DCA a dollar cost average into a position on the way up as well. And on the way down, right? On the way down, that's what I'll be doing. If I do see a breakout, if I do see a decisive move on the part of Bitcoin and it does break out, and there's some volume with it, then you betcha I'm going to be jumping in. All right. So let's look at the lower time frames and start looking at what we can expect on that end. Let's look at the 4-hour first. We'll start there and then work our way down. Let's do a little bit of this. There we go. A little better. Okay. All right. So same as the daily 4 hours, looking like it does want to regain a more bullish posture, getting above the 30 here. It is putting in some work. It is the 4 hour. We're currently trading at 1,000 or 10,137. I don't get anywhere bullish. I mean, we did see a reject off of the 21 EMA here. A rejection there. I don't start to get bullish until we regain 200 here, around 10,314. If you want to be a little bit lenient, you could say the 55 here at 10,250. That's also a valid point. But if you really want some, I guess, more of a guarantee, then I would wait for Bitcoin to actually pop back up above 10,300, where the 200 is coming in. Again, that's a safer bet in my opinion. The 55 will also do it, but if you're waiting for more of a confirmation move, then there you go, 10,300. All right, that's on the 4 hour. RSI on the 4 hours is actually looking pretty good. Looks like it can have continuation here. Again, it is being rejected off the 21 as it's sitting here right here on the RSI down here, the stochastic. I do have a 21 EMA running with a stochastic here. It does look like it's just ticking just slightly above the 21 there. We did see it back here again, ticking above it, but then it got rejected and actually came back down below it. So hopefully that won't happen, but we are in sort of a downtrend, if you can see it here. Not that this means anything or very much, but we are on a downtrend again on the RSI. So definitely facing some resistance there as well, as the trend is actually doing it. And we're playing with this line of resistance here not that long ago. Let's actually see what we've got here. I am going to get rid of the moving averages here for just a second so we can get a cleaner look. Right, so that's kind of where we're at right now. I mean, wick to wick. If we play this wick right here, it's a clear rejection off of this line of resistance here. Right, clear rejection. We're trading below it. So again, we'd have to get above it here, above the line of resistance here on the RSI, puncture above it, and puncture above it here as well. I mean, those things would definitely have to be in confluence for any move to actually play out, or for any move to actually be validated. Otherwise, it might be a fake out. So be careful, guys. Fake outs do happen, right? We actually saw, before that move, we actually saw this happening. But now we see this is sort of what really is going on right now. There we go. All right. Okay, so clear rejection there. Again, if you do see it tick above it with some volume, that is the other thing. Volume matters quite a bit, especially around here, because we haven't had any. So if you do see an uptake in that indicator, in the volume indicator, definitely pay attention to that, because it could mean we could be making a decisive move. Again, I mean, I never like to say this, because you never know. Bitcoin it always does that sort of thing and makes you look bad. So, I mean, I want to say that it's got a few more days to go in the overall formation of things. I mean, we're definitely over 75% full of this formation here. So, and actually, there's a clever way we can do this. Let's just start right here. We are at day 82 out of, say this formation were to play out somewhere around here, 82 out of 100 days. So we're about 82% filled, right? So yeah, this move could definitely happen, after a 75% fillage, if that is even a word. I'm sure it's not. Once we get to a certain point where we got about 75% full of within that formation, then it could be certainly said that there is an expected breakout or breakdown. All right. Okay. So let's go and look at the 3 hour, see if there's any confluence there. There should be. The 3 hour should be chasing the 4 hour, and it actually is. The 3 hour though looks a little more decisive, actually. 3 hour definitely looking more decisive. It actually puncture through that the 21 EMA here, and this line of resistance here coming in. So it could mean that we still have a continuation of this move to the upside, right? We could see a continuation there. So definitely paying attention to that in the next few hours. We did get a new daily as well. We were just going over the daily chart. The 2 hour showing us even better. Actually, let's fix this right here. Yeah, 2 hours looking way better right here. So we could definitely see this. Yeah, we could definitely see this continuing, right? All right, and let's lastly look at the 1 hour. Actually, 1 hour is showing some weakness now, actually ticking down into the downside, looking like it wants to retest the neutral zone here in the RSI. So, yeah, there's some conflicting information there. These are the lower time frames, so they carry less weight, but however, a lot of times one thing will carry on over to the other. So again, just more reasons to be careful here, and just to keep your eye on it for the time being. All right, guys, like I said, I wanted to keep this video short. If you got something out of this video, please give it a like. Also, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you stay abreast of all these updates when I put out the content. All right, leave it down in the comments if you agree, if you disagree, and we'll chat it up. All right, guys, thanks so much for your attention, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.